Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in to this video where I'm going to be talking about the upcoming energy for this week, starting today, March 25th through next week, March 31st. It's a action-packed week, you could say, with a eclipse coming on the 29th in Aries, and this is especially large for me since I am Aries. So I'm excited to dive in a little bit to this. I love these videos in which I tune in to channel Galactic Energy for guidance for the energy in the week ahead. But also sometimes I like to throw in a little bit of information from a astrology or human design perspective. And I want to just kind of briefly talk about a few things with this upcoming eclipse coming up on the 29th. The first thing I want to bring attention to is that the sun and moon will be in gate 17. Now, if you don't know what that is, no worries. All I want you to know is this, and that is this energy is explaining that collectively we may find ourselves presented with situations in which we're being invited to come up with new and unique ways of kind of moving through whatever obstacle or energy comes up. But the key is to learn to detach from dogmatic thinking or our logic, which I know I personally can really relate to, or from being sort of nonchalant about feeling like, what's the point, and disconnecting from feeling like you have any sort of power to change or create change. So you withhold your perspectives, your opinions, and not move forward. Where when this energy is aligned, it's beautiful cosmic energy that helps us move forward. Now, the other thing I want to briefly talk about is we have a lot of planets gathered together. We've got Neptune, Venus, and Mercury. Now, these are all in Pisces and they are in human design in gate 25. Once again, if you're not familiar with this, that's okay. You can, check or email or reach out and I can share more. But this is what I want you to know. This energy is talking about how the way we are going to be moving forward, these planets are inviting us to tap into unconditional love, which is another favorite topic of mine. So when we look at Neptune, we can look at it from a perspective of, our spirituality, our connection to source energy. And Venus is connected to the energy of where the Empress, where we birth new things. And Mercury, we're connecting to our logic and how we think or the things we say, how we communicate. And so this energy is all inviting us to detach from judgment, to step outside of discrimination, and to embody this unconditional, beautiful cosmic love, which is perfectly aligned with some of the things that we talked about last week, where the Andromedans came in and invited us to shift one perspective and change one thing, to make and take action, to make one change, to encourage us to get a little uncomfortable with life so we can shift. So I would be so curious to hear if this energy came up for you, if you felt it strongly last week. I know for me, I definitely felt it. I ended up receiving guidance about tapping into understanding how color can hold frequency. And many of those on spiritual journeys understand how the colors are connected to the chakras. And I was encouraged to step out of the box in my usual black and white wardrobe and embrace more color. And it was uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable. It sounds silly, but I realized how much programming that I was. If I did a certain thing, I wore a certain color. And so I felt personally like I was really feeling this energy, as it really caused me to look at ways in which I fall into repetitive behavior. Can I be comfortable showing up when it's not familiar? And so this was definitely a push for me. So I'd be curious to hear if you experienced anything in particular last week. So, that said, I'm going to kind of shift gears now, and I'm going to start connecting and channeling, coming to see what sort of galactic energy wants to come forth today. Now, this is only my second live, and so I'm being really human right now to say this is also something that is a shift for me and not exactly comfortable. So bear with me as I ground for a minute. And if you have not watched my last live video, just to give you a little information, when I'm channeling, my strongest gift is clairaudient. So you may hear when I share the guidance coming through moments where I might interrupt myself, which is my guides coming through to sort of correct me. I think one of my videos I used a word and they said no, that's not the right word. So that I feel like is enough information for now. Okay, so got some grounding energy here. Feel free. I invite you to just take a breath with me. I mean, we all could use more pauses in our day to day. So I invite you to just utilize this time to just ground into yourself as well, while I'm grounding and connecting to cosmic energies for this week. It can feel soothing to take deep, relaxing breaths. I just want to take a moment to invite any energy of higher vibrational frequency that would like to connect this week, for the week ahead, guidance regarding the eclipse, and how we are all shifting collectively. I feel like I'm feeling loving, beautiful Pleiadian energy coming through this week. Just tuning into their frequency stronger, strengthening our connection. And I'm hearing that they would like me to share a little bit of their story. The Pleiadians have a deeply empathic, sensitive, loving frequency. They also are very much connected to the human DNA genetics. They are considered our cousins. Therefore, they also are very invested in how we are shifting and evolving collectively. One of the key aspects of the Pleiadians and their journey and what they have learned is their very large, expansive heart has gone through a period of time in which they wanted to sort of save the world. They wanted to help. They wanted to assist. It came from a frequency of the absolute best intentions. However, what they came to learn and realize through their own journeys of intervening with other galactic races that didn't exactly play out well to their advantage, they realized that we have to allow space for each of us to go down our own path. That we had to allow each individual to have their experience. That while we may have perspectives of what we feel another should or should not be doing, and we can have the best spiritual intentions, yet by sometimes meddling, we can cause more harm than good. I'm just feeling into this energy, and I'm of what they're wanting to share, and I'm having my own personal reflection while I'm just feeling into this. And I know as a parent who was raised in an environment where my emotions were not really noticed or were encouraged to be suppressed as a mother of a child, I've gone through a spell in my life where I want to fix things for my son. As a mom, if you can relate as a parent, you don't have to necessarily be a mom. You could be a dad or, whatever, but it's this energy of wanting to nurture and soothe. And it comes from the best place. And there was a day in which my child was having a teenage moment, and I wanted to fix it. I wanted to change it. And for me, the way to do that, I thought, was to get him out and about, to go do something with me. I wanted him to go to lunch with me and spend time with me. And I thought, this would make him feel better. I could cheer him up. And no matter what I tried, the situation kept escalating. And what I learned was that essentially I was trying to not give him the space to go through whatever journey he was on. And I know I've had days where, like we talked about this week with the collective energy, I talked about human design and the gate 17 with the sun and moon and the invitation for us to, possibly come up with solutions to the situations we're in. Well, if we never have that space in which we allow the discomfort, which also ties into what they were sharing last week, then we can't shift. And so therefore, sometimes when we intervene and we try to make things better, we're just complicating another person's journey. So I realized what was best for my child is to just allow him to have an off day. We all have off days. I have quite a few, if I'm being honest. I'm very emotional. There's a lot of times that, I have to allow those feelings, and that would be, distracting to have another person try to make things feel better. So I feel like what they're trying to say is, especially in the time in which we are, and we are seeing more and more divide, and we are seeing more and more split. I feel like the energy that keeps coming through in different ways is really inviting us to look at how we can handle things being chaotic outside. How can we feel like we can allow what's going on to go on while having love, compassion, but also feeling grounded within your own self and feeling like you've got you, which is similar to what was shared before. So I feel like what the Pleiadians are saying with this eclipse, we can look at it in the sense of this energy also is in Aries. So when we look at Aries, we're looking at fresh starts, new beginnings. This is a solar eclipse, which once again, unlike a lunar eclipse, which is illuminating something for adjustment or release, a solar eclipse is a beginning. It is a big shift. It is a new chapter. And so as we're looking at these frequencies from an astrology perspective, we can look at it as Aries is often the pioneer. You might not know how you're going to get through the next month or the next few months. You may feel like it's taking all of your energy not to be swallowed up in what is going on in the world around us. And this Aries energy is the I am. It is the I am focus, the you got you focus, so we're being invited with this energy to hold ourselves and to allow space for whatever's going on externally or to your neighbor, to your friend, to your partner, to allow them to go through their journey as you are going through your journey and trusting that we're going to find our way on the other side. The other thing I want to bring up with this is from a galactic astrology perspective, I'm feeling inclined to share this story with you because part of the energy I talked about with where the sun and moon are, I mentioned stepping out of the logic and being dogmatic. So from a galactic astrology perspective, the sun and moon are very tightly connected to Zeta Reticuli for this coming eclipse. Now, I have information that I've shared in other videos on the history of the Zeta, but essentially trying to summarize it up for you right now. Basically, what their storyline is they were a branch off of the Lyran galactic race. Okay, so I'm just wanting to pull this in simplest terms possible. And I will leave some links for you to attach to the videos, but I am feeling like I'm hearing that this is important and that this energy is working with us and influencing the current circumstance, and the story wants to be shared. And if I'm being honest, I feel like if you're watching this or you're drawn to watch this and you are a spiritual practitioner or a light worker, I feel like this is especially for that group. And I feel like it's actually kind of like a little bit of a direct message that is inviting you to shift some perspectives. So this is the story. The story is that the first physical incarnations of consciousness expression came from beings that were Lyran. We can look at this as they held a frequency very yang, like the masculine. It was the creative spark. They were explorers and curious and all of that beautiful pumped up energy that comes with the yang expression. From there, it's separated into the Vegans, and they had a more spiritual approach. They were very disciplined. They were not concerned about going out and exploring. They wanted to kind of be one with their planet where they were. They were very connected to nature. They would be considered the yogis, you could say, of today. Now, however, what happened is they became too spiritually disciplined and focused that they blocked out the human experience. They blocked out the emotional experience. And as a result, ultimately, this species turned into what many know as the Zeta or the grays. And there's a lot more to that story. But basically, the story is that spirituality within an imbalance causes destruction, causes unnatural, what's the word I'm looking for? A natural, oh, the word is escaping me, but basically I keep hearing muddies the water, it muddies the water. And so when we're looking at this energy this week and what I've shared of looking at, being invited to understand that the world outside is chaotic, but understanding there is a way out, and that way out though is within you. That way out is detachment from outside. And the way out also is not through closing your eyes or burying your head in the sand. Or if you're someone spiritual, going back to the Pleiadian story. And I think this is why, yes, they're saying yes, yes, yes. This is why they wanted to share this story, because they had the best intention. They wanted to help. So as a light worker, you may want to help. You may want to save the world. You may want to feel like you're giving your support, you're holding space, all of the things. But it's time to really get real with yourself and drop. Ooh. Just a moment. I'm just tuning in. Drop the labels. Drop the archetypal roles in which you are identifying. Detach from, we can get so caught up in purpose. We can get so caught up in, I'm here to make this impact. I'm here because my high vibrational frequency is changing the world. I'm not discrediting any of that. I probably fit into that very category. But I feel what they're saying is, as we are moving and shifting and splitting and changing the Gaia, the world as we have always known it, the familiar expression in which it's held, there isn't going to be clear boundaries. There isn't going to be, we have to detach from discrimination. Once again, looking at that Neptune, Venus, Mercury energy, unconditional love, detaching from judgment. So this eclipse holds, what I'm hearing is this eclipse holds very potent energy for you to find your way throughout, whatever breakthrough. And whatever area, it would be good for you to also, if you know how to pull your astrology chart, to notice what house this is. If this is language you're not familiar with, I invite you to comment. I can leave a quick, link or description to help you navigate through that. But wherever you have the Aries energy is the area of your life in which you are going to feel the biggest impact from this eclipse. For me, for example, Aries is my sun sign and it is in the 7th house. This means relationships. So for me, this energy is looking and dealing with the topic of relationships. How I can detach from feeling like I'm getting wrapped up, or I'm trying to think in simple terms how I could, what's wanting to come through. It's like, because it's very layered, and without getting into all the ins and outs of my astrology chart, I feel like the simple way to say this is just leaving it at, I know for me, it is connected to topics of relationships, which I've already started to feel the effects. And that's the other thing, is you will most likely be working with this energy through the eclipse and within like a week after, because an eclipse is a very pivotal time in which we are generally being shifted into things to put us more aligned with where we are meant to, I want to say destiny, but for the sake of this video, I'll say aligned in our authentic expression, what energy expression we're here to embody. I'm just going to tune in now to see if the Pleiadians would add anything else to what I share. I'm hearing patience, open heart. Okay, can you elaborate on what you would like to share today regarding having an open heart or how to open the heart? If you're someone who has a healthy connection already to cacao, if you're listening to this, I don't feel inclined to elaborate more. I would say if you hear the word cacao, you're not familiar with it, I invite you to look into that, do a little Google search. I feel like that would be a very supportive plant medicine for this week, because what they're saying is there is a lot of energy in the heart and that unconditional love, the detachment. This energy in human design is very much about not having discrimination. It's about just being connected to the unifying cosmic frequency of love. Are there any other guidances I'm asking the Pleiadians regarding the heart? Journaling. I'm hearing journaling. Can you be more specific? Writing a list of what lights you up. Okay, that's doable. So this week, I would invite you, if this resonates, to consider either on the eclipse or before or after some time, to maybe consider making a list of the things that really light you up, and looking at these things as things that it's not about it. What I'm hearing is it's not about distraction, because that's the other thing, is Neptune can have the energy of wanting us to spiritually bypass or distract from the issue. So therefore, some people resort to excessive eating or excessive drinking. There can be, when Neptune is out of balance, a energy of avoidance or escapism through addiction, or addicted to feelings that sort of distract. So this isn't about that, but rather what they're trying to say is, I'm just feeling into this more clear. What they're saying is you can see these things as tools, not necessarily as a distraction from what's going on in the world outside, but as a way to tune into different things and assisting you to move your energetic frequency and to increase it in order to better balance any challenging circumstances that you may find yourself in. So, for example, if you are feeling, I love connecting to nature, The other night, I felt an overwhelming sense of emotion. A lot has been shifting in my life and changes, and I'm releasing old programs. And it got to the point where I did the meditation stuff. I can self-reflect all I want, but ultimately I ended up taking a drive with the windows down and feeling the air. And then I went for a walk in nature. These things light me up, and this helped the energy move. This helps the heart open. Is there anything else? No, that is all. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just feeling into if there's any other frequency. I'm not as familiar with all of the angels, but I also feel like for those that are listening to this, if you're hearing this and it resonates, this is for you. For those that work with the angels, that this week, the Archangel Haniel and I want to make sure I'm saying the next one properly. Archangel Casmiel, I'm going to have to look that one up. Casmiel. Yes. Archangel Casmiel and Haniel. That you can call upon these angels connected to love and joy. I'm hearing support. Okay, well, I'll have to look into that. I don't have as much information on that one to give you. So if you're listening, yeah, check that out. Look into that. I know I'm going to after the call. Beautiful. Okay, that is all. That is all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so there you have it. I feel like that is all that's coming through for this week. Thank you so much to the Pleiadians. I'm excited to look into those angels that came through. I hope that something really jumped out at you today. And I would love to hear if you are watching this and you do recall last week, if you made yourself uncomfortable, leave a comment. Let me know. I'd love to kind of just share in that moment with you of stepping forward and taking that action step. And if this is your first time listening, my name is Cassandra Deanne. I am a certified galactic astrologer and certified in human design. If you want to know more about these things, reach out, email me, and we can talk. If you are curious about galactic astrology, I know I mentioned that this coming eclipse is connected to Zeta. If you are curious what that means, or curious if you are connected to the Pleiadians or feel connected to the Pleiadians, there's so many things I could say about that. But feel free to check out the description. Look into booking a galactic astrology reading with me. It is so transformative. My clients have seen major shifts and activations of coming online. I think the 2 clients recently, after connecting, said after just one session, they received energetic updates and their intuition just like rocketed. So if you're curious to start unlocking some of these incredible connections and gifts that you have stored in your DNA and learning more about your galactic connections and how these energies are working with you, I would love to read for you. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. If you would like and subscribe or help share the love, we talked about love, and share the video, that would just make my heart super happy. And so thank you so much for listening. And until next time, have a lovely day. Bye.